I want to hear your story of how you got to where you are right now and how Mercury impacted your own life.
So definitely, I'm very happy to be here. Very flattered that you invited me. You've been trying for a while. COVID separated us, but now here
we are here now. That's what matters.
and I'm so happy to share the information with my patients because it was part of my personal experience struggling with a lot of endocrine and infertility issues. I had no idea that Mercury could have such an impact in hormone levels. Early on, I got mercury fillings put in my mouth. I suffered very abnormal cycles in my period. My uterus didn't develop. My thyroid gland wasn't producing enough T3, T4 hormones. These happened for over, if I would say 12, 14 years. I was on hormone medication. So despite all this, I make it through school. I get into dental school. We start working on each other, removing all this, not even following a safety protocol. But I got to give you youth. That was my insurance protector at the time. Little I know that then after these toxic materials are removed from my mouth, my thyroid hormone levels start being totally normal. And I no longer need to take any Synthroid medication. And the funny story is finishing dental school pregnant after being told I couldn't have kids. Okay, 2 surprises. Finishing dental school was my main goal. And on top of that, having the big challenge to have a big belly there. Now knowing that mercury also impacts and crosses through the placental circulation and affect the fetus, and it's transmitted through the breastfeeding the babies. I think I did something good. Being in dental school, getting them removed, even though there were no protocols at the time. This is in the early 90s. Wow, that's telling you my age now. I have a perfectly healthy baby. My health improved enormously. And I only expect, even for patients, and if people are listening right now and getting a little bit of wisdom today, we can never expect to get dried as long as we continue to stand underneath the shower. When you have a lot of health issues concerning going from one doctor to another, nobody can figure out what's going on with your body, your immune system, your hormones. You got to think about your mouth. The mouth is the key area to look into unresolved health issues. Why? Having heavy metals like mercury and amalgam fillings, they're creating a havoc of inflammatory events. Deplete your production of natural antioxidant, your ability to synthesize proteins, hormones, reutilize cellular energy for repair of your DNA is completely impacted. So that's why mercury can affect so many systems, so many multiple organs in your body. We go from autoimmune problems to infertility issues, from central nervous system, peripheral nervous system concerns, and it goes on and on and on. So for me, getting this on an early age and being able to get rid of that led me to a much healthier path. Little I know that after going through dental school, again here in the US, and working on mercury, putting mercury fillings in order to pass our boards, being trained to do these perfect metal restorations in the mouth, I started getting a little bit, again, sinus strep, chronic sinus infection, constant migraines and headache. That was my second exposure to mercury. That's when I went to friends of mine that are doctors and they said, I'm getting sick again. And I don't know why. I was already in my private practice and I said, well, are you putting mercury fillings? No, I don't put any mercury fillings at all. The last mercury fillings were put in my patient when I was getting my boards and getting my degree. And I said, then it clicked on me as but I'm constantly removing them. And at the time, I wasn't a member of the International Academy of Oral Medicine and Toxicology. I had no clue that every time I put a drill in my patient's mouth, not only my patient, but also myself, we were inhaling enormous amount of mercury. Just to know, on an average, there's going to be a release of 17 micrograms of mercury without a stimulation, daily intake, on an average number of a few mercury fillings in the mouth. When you remove these toxic alloys, you're producing up to 4,000 micrograms of mercury. This is way beyond what the EPA is allowing you to inhale. And inhalation leads you to the lungs, and from the lungs dissipates into the bloodstream and affect every single cell in your body, every single cell, because there's no safety level for mercury. Single atom of mercury is extremely toxic to the body. And this is a message I want to send to patients, because there's still a skepticism about it. We have the American Dental Association is supporting that these fillings are still inert and they don't cause any reactivity in the body, which with science that started back in 1930 by a German chemist, Dr. Alfred Stock, he documented the personal hazard that he experienced in his own body. He couldn't continue doing all these studies because in Second World War, his lab got bombed down. But then we had Dr. Olympia Pinto that continued the studies in the 50s, 60s here in the US when he arrived to the US, and worked with Dr. Hull Huggins. Dr. Hull Huggins is the pioneer in biological dentistry. Unfortunately deceased, but with all the respect, he left a major mark for us biological dentists to give us the evidence of how the immune system is heavily impacted when these metallic restorations are not removed in a safe way.
Yeah, no, it's mind-boggling that this is still allowed in many ways. And it's really troublesome that some people just overlook it. And there are dentists that say, yeah, it's inert, not a big deal. When you see so many people impacted